Good morning. Today is the 28th of October 2024 and it's an hour earlier for me. It's 1 PM here instead of 2 PM in the UK. Our clocks went back last night, so I've got to try and get used to working an hour out all week. I'm going to go through my levels today. Got a few areas of interest. I've had a bit of a push up over in the post market or the pre-market this morning. Let's just get my pen loaded. And then news wise, I don't think there's any news this morning. Nothing 8:30. You know, we had a bit of a move at 8:30. I don't know why that was. There was no news at 8:30. We have the manufacturing index at 10:30, and that's about it today. And what earnings do we have? I know we've got a few big earnings coming up this week. Nothing I can see today. Aftermarket. Ford. That's it really. They're the biggest ones today. A few at the top. So nothing will affect what we're doing. So on my screen we're looking at the 1 hour time frame, and we're on the S&P 500 E-mini futures. So let's just get to the hours. We've got a few trend lines in place still from last week. So let's just quickly reassess the hour time frame and the daily time frame. We've got this trend line we're watching, which we've been holding. We haven't broke through that yet. So that's a trend line of interest. We came close to testing, well, we did test that area last week, and that's 5800. So 5800 is an area I'm watching as well, and obviously we're watching. Basically, we're right in that area. And where's my volume gone? Volume. Let's add that in quickly. Volume bars pro. That should be there. I think I saw that. Yeah. Okay. So got volume added back in as well now. So let's zoom in to the last few days. That's better. So always good to look at the volume. You can see we're seeing a little bit of weakness up here now. We talked about that last week. We saw those two top and tail candles, like a reversal candle. Then we saw some bottom tail candles, which at one point those would have been full red candles. So that's our first signs of weakness. Then we had a big day where we came back down, retested this trend line, and we tested that level there. So at 58, basically that zone 58.14 area. Oh, let's get rid of that. And then we've had a couple of small inside days. Basically, we've not been able to break out from that range. So today's key. We're either going to break out of that range. Did try on Friday, and we didn't put in a new all-time high, so we're going to try again today. Again, that to me that looks like a reversal candle or a big sign of weakness from Friday. On volume as well, so notice how the red days we have increased volume, green days below average volume. So we were, and we had, if you compare the last few candles as well, you can see the green were below average, the red was slightly higher than the green, and then we had those big reversal or that weakness candle. So this is the one we're watching, so let's just highlight that. So that's the area we're watching for a breakout, and I probably don't really want to take anything unless we get out above it, long, or if we can get below this trend line. So they're the two positions I'm really watching for. Let's go down to the hourly and just get some levels. So that's why we're keeping an eye on that trend line there. And then we've got old trend lines from last week we can get rid of now. As you can see, we broke down through this trend line last week, and we came back up, we retested it there, and then we've been holding this trend as well, and tried to get through it, couldn't quite get out of that area. Remember I said X marks the spot, that's an area to watch for, and then we sold off. and we're back up into this region again. So I do quite like watching. I'll keep these trend lines in place for a few more days, but they're not really that relevant now. I still quite like this area for a rejection, 5900 down to 5890, and keeping with this trend line here, we can probably watch for a bounce, and if that did come back down, probably the area to watch for a bounce will be around here, and that would be an area of confidence as well. So you've got bottoms of candles, you could say roughly near the bottoms of those candles, and then an area of confidence. So I do quite like 58.60 down to 58.50 for a bounce. However, main area I'm watching will be 5800, this area here, potentially coming off of this trend line as well. And we're into this area of confluence where we've got tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots. We bounced from there, didn't quite get down to retest it, but if we get back down to 5800, 5810, that area, I'll be watching that area for a bounce. So just to quickly recap, see anything else. Because the time zone's different today, we had our clocks went back yesterday. I'm a little bit out and now, so I would normally take a look at the charts before I get on, and so I'm kind of lost an hour today. So I do quite like this area around 59.10 for the rejection. I've got an alert already sitting up there from Friday. If we get back onto that region, I do quite like rejection. Anything above that, like the all-time high, I don't like rejections because there's no volume up there at all. So I'll be looking for a break and retest long if we get above that. And then I do quite like this area as well. What's that? Close to pre-market high, which is a break and retest long as well, 58.90. So we watch that for two areas, for a rejection in that area, and we can also watch it for a break and retest long into that region, 59.10, 59.30. But keep an eye on 5900, psychological number. Held it, we rejected it that time, we rejected it that time, and these two times. So maybe the fourth time we're going to see it break through. I think that's it really. Looking at volume, we've got a volume shelf down here, that's why I want to see it break through, come back and retest, or watch it for a rejection. And then the next volume shelf is not until we get down into little one there, but probably this region here. So that little volume shelf will be that region there, but the main volume shelf will be right coming into this section here. That's where the point of control is, and that's the area we want to watch for a bounce. Let's take a look at SPY. So we'll start giving us some of these trend lines. So this is the area I quite like. Let's just draw a rectangle. I like it because we've got volume up there, we've got tops of candles, and we came into that region. So I still quite like 584 into 585, this region for the rejection. And it's quite a wide area as well, but like, so similar to this candle, if we poke into it, I want to wait for it to come back out before going short for the rejection. If we can get above it, we can look for a bit of a trend play, maybe a break and retest of pre-market high into that level as a target, and also a break and retest long into all-time highs as well. Bounces, even though we do have a big volume shelf here, as you can see to the left, this region here, we can watch that area for a bounce potentially. Big area of confidence, but what I do like is watching 575 area, this area here, for a bounce. It's a region we previously watched as well, so we'll keep an eye on that for a bounce. Okay, SPX levels are pretty much the same as they have been. This is the main area. We've got a little bit of volume below, big volume profile, and we've got this bounce area. So watch 57.73. But we've got 5800 and 5900 are two regions to watch out as well. NQ, we're right in that zone now, we're right in this rejection area. last time we was here. Big reaction, well, not last time, but big reaction to there. Got back into that region, another big reaction. So I do, if we can clear this period, I do quite like the break and retest long over the top. So the break and retest over that area, and that'll be around 26.75, that area for break and retest long, looking a little bit stronger, it's holding. But it's not all-time highs. If we go back a bit, all-time highs is well off. So, but we do have a bit of a void above before we get to this next region of confluence, and you see lack of volume as well just there. So if we can break, come back, retest, then we got a potential target at 21,000. So that's our next rejection point, 21,000 as well, this region. As for bounces, bounce once down in that region. If we can get back down into 2,500, this region here, we can watch out for a bounce as well. So this is a nice bounce area here. Oh, circle, that is supposed to be a rectangle, that's okay. And then if we do lose this area, this zone here, we've got lots of confluence down there. So that's probably my preferred bounce area. 23, 24 for the bounce. So we've got break and retest here, potential rejection if we can't hold this level, only because last time we were there we failed it once, failed it twice, and then we can watch for the break and retest of pre-market high long, and I think that's it. Hard to go short when we're looking quite strong on NASDAQ. QQQ, again I like the break and retest of pre-market high, that region, preferably if we can get above that pivot from Friday. But if we do break it and we come back down and retest this region, then I'll be looking for long. 499, we've got 500 just above, so that could be natural resistance. We're not at all-time highs yet. If we sell off, we've got this big area of confluence here, big volume shelf, point of control, lots of bottom pivots. So I do quite like 491.40 for the bounce, and I would also consider this region here, even though we did break right through it before, but watch 487.80 for the bounce as well. And if we get further down, we can look at levels later for that. Crude oil sold off big time in the post pre-market, big gap down due to the Israel and Iran conflict, I believe. Israel, I didn't really look at the news, but I saw the word Israel pop up. So yeah, there we go. So it's nice to see that it's honouring the levels we've got in place. You know, we've had this level for a while, gap down to that, push back up and reject that area, and now we're holding this region. We held that level at one point as well. So all I can see is stick to these levels because it works pretty much most of the time. Let's watch for a bounce at 67.13, 67. So 67 for a bounce, and then if we can get back up into this region, 68, 95 to 70, then we can watch for a rejection. So we've broken that level of support. Now we're going to come back up to retest it and see the move down. Notice this little head and shoulders pattern as well. Not sure big gap down helped, but yeah, so that's all I'm watching. Basically that region 70, and then this region 66 to 66.50. Gold still looking pretty bullish. I do quite like this. I like this pattern. You can see us starting to tighten up. So we've been putting in this pattern. So as we tighten up, it's going to pick a direction. We are in a big uptrend. So you'd like to think that maybe the pattern would be the break and retest long. So we can watch pre-market high, Friday's high for the break and retest around 27.50, 27.60. Just clear that, let's get a better level, zoom in. So let's keep an eye on 27.50 break and retest long. Got to try and get over these pivots. We are right at the point of control here. Look at that big volume shelf. So you know there's a volume shelf because we've had lots of confluence in that area. Bottoms of candles, tops of candles. So if we can clear both of these pivots, we can, I think, look for a long to continue to trend up into new all-time highs potentially. That's in the last all-time high. If we do sell up a bit, we've got our bounce point. You can see it quite clearly here. Area confluence, and we can watch 27.30 for the bounce. I think that there's no shorts really unless we can break this trend, come back up, retest that back down, but then we need to get below this 200 moving average and close below it before we want to consider the shorts. One thing to note as well, we have flipped on the 50 moving average, so we were comfortably above it, and now we're kind of holding it, and we've kind of been hovering around it. So this could be an early sign that we are looking at a change of trend potentially. We found a top, and then we can keep an eye on something like that. You know, we see it in the hourly first, and then we can go and see it on the daily afterwards. But the daily is clearly a big uptrend. Waning volume, another sign of weakness. Bottom tails, we talked about this on ES as well. One of the first signs of weakness, big red candle, reducing volume. You can see if you look at the volume, the average volume, it's sloping downwards as well. So we are slowly running out of steam as the price is increasing. So a little bit of divergence. Also interesting to see the RSI is way up here as well, over 70. So potentially a pullback is on the cards, but when it happens we don't know. But we can keep an eye on the break of that big red candle. So let's treat this red candle here as our control bar for this, and anything above or below will hopefully show us the trend. If we break down, watch for the retest short, break above it, we might see another leg back up. RTY, again reducing volume RTY, but I'm not looking at daily. Find some levels. It's not a very nice chart at the moment. This is our bounce point. We've been watching for a while. We've bounced a few times. Not sure we're going to bounce a fourth time. So keep an eye on that, potentially for a bounce or a break and retest short. If we do lose it, we've got this level below. What I like the most about RTY, which is the Russell 2000, is it does honour the levels pretty well. You can literally draw the zones in, and it will stay between them. You know, that was the floor became the ceiling, and then the floor here became the ceiling, still became the ceiling, and then back up to that level again. Not sure yellow's in the level, but we've got, you can see it hesitated, it got back down to that level again, dropped down to the next level, back up to that level, back down to that level. So these levels are strong and they hold, and that's why I like RTY. It does hold the levels pretty well. So you can pretty much draw your levels in at the right places, and you just see it work between those levels. I'm just seeing if there's any decent plays setting up. It's not quite all-time high. I will draw that level in as well. It's quite relevant now. So we've got that top pivot, tops of these pivots here, and then tops of these pivots. And when I draw my levels, I don't really go right down to the dollar or to the cent. I'm literally just eyeballing it, looking for regions of confluence, and also seeing a reduction in volume there is a good sign. And that's how I draw my levels. And as you can see, these levels, even though they're all eyeballed levels, they're pretty accurate. Works pretty well, and also helps having zooming out and having the globe, seeing the overall picture of everything going back several months. Okay, so let's just zoom back in. So nothing really apart from a potential inverse head and shoulders, maybe a third shoulder. We can keep an eye on it. We can see the neckline there. If we can break over it, come back and put in a new trend, you can see we are starting to trend up a little bit as well. We just need to break out over that area. So just watch for the break and retest of that point of control, this red line, and over these pivots. But we need to get over 25 25.50 is the area I want to go over. I've got 25.54 as a potential top zone, but as with all these levels, even though the levels are pretty decent, these are just regions to watch as a zone rather than anything. So we're looking at that region, that's our level, not the line. YM, again, look at the zones, look how the levels literally bounce between them. That one there from Friday, we've got these levels here, and you can see we held it there. And then on Thursday, I think that was, these levels here, we came back up into that area there, bottoms levels there, so all these levels work great. That's 43 as well. I like using round psychological numbers. I know I've got 42,997, like I said, when I do the levels I just eyeball it rather than look for the pound, but I could easily just go in and edit it. 43, and that would be the more accurate way of doing it, but you know, whatever system works for you, this is the system I like using. It works really well for me. So I like 43,000 as a rejection point. We've also got a curving 200 moving average as well coming down. That's another confirmation area confluence, and a little bit of a volume shelf. Not much, we've got a lack of volume before we get there, so that's why I don't like anything until we get up there. And then we could also be looking at a inverse head and shoulders pattern, maybe in a bit of a downtrend, so we need to break that trend before we can confirm that. Yeah, so basically 42,280, 42,200 for the bounce. We could watch for a rejection up there or a break and retest at that level, and that's it really. And then Bitcoin, it's looking good. I'll go to the dailies, I prefer the daily. And you can see we talked about this for some time. We've got this cup and handle pattern, really bullish pattern. It's been setting up now for months. I think I was talking about this cup and handle pattern back here. And that's when I started adding again, when I realised it's quite a bullish pattern. You can see all my ads. I took a bit of profit last week as well, up here, great place to take it. And I added coming back down, around that area somewhere. I did intend to add on the bounce of that trend line, but I missed it. So we're watching 70,000, that's the key area. We haven't been able to break over 70,000 since June. Potentially we had one July maybe, was that get over 70,000? 70,000 exactly. So that's the area to watch, and looks pretty bullish. We're breaking out, we've got this nice flag pattern as well. Came back to retest the trend line, retest that pivot as well. So I quite like the breakout of that. So it might be not a bad place to add in this zone here. Me, I was personally waiting for it to come back down to 60,000 and then 50,000 and 40,000 until I got those lines in place. Obviously if we lose bottom of this trend line, then we lose this nice bullish pattern as well. But maybe a small add. I do add a little bit in every week, like a savings account really. So I may just look for a pullback and then add, anticipating the breakout. Profit wise, maybe potentially we can watch for, take some profit, we get up to here and then hold the rest of it to break out into new all-time highs. But Bitcoin is looking decent right now. It's not overbought, unlike here, so it's got plenty of room to push up. And now let's quickly look at the order flow for ES. Just flicking over to my order flow screen. It looks okay at the moment. Got 4 screens. I've got my big volumes in the middle. These red lines show me how much, well, the big orders are. The thicker the line, the bigger the order. So it's a bit like well, the smart money hedge funds are putting their orders. And I'm not seeing any divergences yet. You can see prices come down, then gone back up. Cumulative delta's come down, then gone back up. Nothing unusual really. I'm not even sure how close we are. Go back to our hourly. Yeah, we're not near any rejection points. There's nothing really to look at. But you know, if you're looking for a long, then quickly, I had a few people ask me what the darker red and the lighter blue numbers are. So what I'm looking for, if I'm looking for a reversal, is lots of these imbalances. It's basically an imbalance order. So you can see that 69 is more than 4 times bigger than this is the bid and the ask. So it's more than 4 times bigger than what's on the ask at that price level. And you can see here there's a few imbalances on the ask as well. You can see, so that's looking, so if I see 2 in a row, 2 next to each other stacked up, or 3 or 4, then it's looking pretty bullish. Or if I'm seeing 2 or 3 sell imbalances, then that's looking pretty bearish. But there's nothing here at the moment. There's nothing I can't see. Let's see if there's an example. Bearish, there's 3 in that one, but there's 2 stacked together. 2 there, and also if it's at a level you're watching, you might see it looking bullish, but it could be just a limit orders triggering for stops or take profits. There's nothing really to see. It's a bit boring today actually, the order flow. But this stream's live on my other stream, and I'd say keep an eye on it, because if you're looking for a reversal, you might see some sort of divergence or some clues as to when the market's going to turn, and that's why I use it. Okay, market opens in 1 minute, so trade safe, and I will be back tomorrow. Okay, thank you for watching.